OK, Victoria Wright joins us, writer, campaigner, actress from Channel 4's Cast-Offs. Victoria, hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So we're kind of basking in the afterglow. Some of us a little perplexed by some of it. All of us, I think, enchanted by it. Some of us thought it went on a bit long. Some people didn't like the adverts. Everyone, I thought, admired the scope, though, and the soaring imagination of it all. What did you think of it?
I thought it was an amazing spectacle. Really enjoyed it. I thought Stephen Hawking was fantastic.
Me too.
I just thought to myself, you able-bodied guys, you get Kenneth Branagh, but hey, we got Stephen Hawking, man. I mean, I'm sorry, but I think we got the best guest star, really.
He was. I mean, he was and enormously charismatic, but he always was, because I was at Cambridge 1980 to 83, and he was a fixture all the time. Everywhere you went, there he was. You know, and always exuding this enormous star quality, because he does. I mean, he's a luminous personality, isn't he? Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the charisma and the fact that he is, the world's most famous living disabled person, and I'm just so pleased that he said yes and agreed to be on it.
What do you think of the rest of it?
Well, I thought apart from that, I thought the beginning bit was a little bit slow and confusing. I think that the best bit came after all the athletes had arrived, which was a shame, because I think a lot of people had probably gone to bed and probably missed it, but I stayed up till the end.
And which bit? Because there was quite a lot of it still. After the
David Toole, the dancer with no legs, he was amazing.
Yes.
The tribute to Ian Jury and the Blockheads and Spasticus Autisticus, which is a song that many disabled people love because it's such a powerful protest song about disability rights. I love the fact that they had dancers dancing as disabled protesters. I think that was wonderful that was included. And I just went to bed last night just feeling really happy and feeling really proud to be disabled, really.
Well, that's an amazing feeling. That's a wonderful feeling. Tell me about the various writers, disabled writers, who are saying things in the papers today like, don't be politically correct. For God's sake, don't pat us on the head. Don't tell us how brave we are. We're athletes. Yeah. We're elite athletes, for God's sake. And all we want is just to be treated as elite athletes. We don't want any extra dollops of sugar-coated jam on top. Thanks very much.
Well, exactly. I mean, I think that, I think as Oscar Pistorius himself had said, don't kind of judge us by our disability, look at what we can do and judge us on the merit of who we are as athletes. And, I think that, I'm really pleased by today's media coverage. It's really positive and really kind of vibrant, and it's not as worthy as I feared it would be. Because the problem is that if you portray something like Paralympics as just about brave disabled people doing sport, all of those people that do have dodgy attitudes towards disabled people, they're not going to watch the Paralympics. They're not going to go, well, I'm not going to watch disabled people, doing sport. It's going to be boring, and I'm not interested in that. But if they, realise that actually these are disabled athletes who are in their prime, who are really the best at their sport, hopefully they will watch and they'll see that disabled people are more than just tragic but brave, and hopefully their attitudes will change a little bit.
I mean, all sorts of extraordinary things have happened during the Olympics itself and pre the Paralympics. One of them was that people who don't like sport, are not interested in sport, couldn't give a fig for any sport at all, found themselves watching sport. This was an extraordinary thing.
I was like that.
Amazing. Me too.
Amazing. Really sport, but I was gripped by Mo Farah and Jessica Ennis. I mean, I'd never even heard of them. I'd heard of Tom Daley. I'd heard of a few people, and Rebecca Adlington, but I didn't know who many of these athletes were, and they were extraordinary. And I'm sure that with the Paralympics, a lot of people are going to be remembering the names of our Paralympic athletes.
So that was one extraordinary thing. Then another shift was that people who didn't think they really wanted tickets were suddenly desperate and would have sold their grandmother for tickets. And then another thing that was really quite remarkable that nobody thought would happen or predicted would happen was that people who wouldn't have dreamed of thinking of going to the Paralympics suddenly were elbowing their next door neighbours out of the way to make damn sure they could get tickets to go to the Paralympics. So all sorts of unexpected shifts took place. And let's say in huge brackets, and people were polite to one another, and people welcomed one another, and lots of volunteers prove that people do things that don't involve money, and that there are really very lots and lots of very nice people all over London, which was a great revelation to some. So all sorts of unexpected things have already taken place, and I'm wondering if the Paralympics will continue to weave that kind of intoxicating magic by which something else even more profound will take place, which will be an ultimate shift in understanding and appreciation of the fact that we're all people, and that's basically all it boils down to. Whatever's wrong with you and not wrong with you, whatever you've got or haven't got about yourself, that might just seep through kind of osmotically, just because we're going to be so exposed to people with all sorts of disabilities.
I hope so. I really hope so. I mean, interesting, I read an article in a newspaper a couple of weeks ago that was talking about the Paralympics, and somebody put a comment at the end of the article on the website. They'd said, rather dismissively, well, people, kids grow up wanting to be Usain Bolt. They don't grow up wanting to be in a wheelchair. And I thought that really encapsulates a lot of people's dismissive attitudes towards disabled people and disabled athletes in Paralympics. And I really hope that that person and other people who share that kind of view will watch your Paralympics on the telly and actually come away with a sense of awe. Hopefully they'll be sitting there with beer, cheering on the Paralympics, Team GB, and, they'll realise that actually the Paralympics is an extraordinary international sporting event and deserving of our respect.
Victoria, very, very briefly, unfortunately, because we've got to go right into the news, but Edwina Curry tweeted while watching last night. She tweeted that the Italian Paralympians looked gorgeous even in wheelchairs. They all look good, natty suits, smooth geezers. Italians are gorgeous even in wheelchairs. Love them. Now, lots of people have responded. One person said this is singularly the most offensive thing I've ever seen on Twitter. What do you think?
Well, as much as it pains me to come to the defence of a former Conservative MP, when I saw it and I saw somebody criticise her, I tweeted back, "Oh, leave Edwina alone. Like a lot of able-bodied people tonight, she's just discovered that disabled people can be hot." And I think it's been taken out of proportion. I don't think she meant to be malicious. I personally think it's quite funny.
Victoria, thank you so much. It's been a laugh talking to you. Thank you, Victoria Wright, writer, campaigner, actress from Channel 4's cast-offs. This is radio. No one can see anybody. We're all voices. We're all equal here. Victoria is disabled, but I don't know whether I meant to tell you that or not. She's certainly fascinating and great guest on the show. No question. I've talked to her about absolutely anything and hope we will in the future. Time now on BBC London 94.9 for the news, the travel and the weather at